Hi, Melina from Yogi here. So last week I talked about shoulder kind of openers, upper back openers, and this week I'm going to talk to you about shoulder stabilization and how to activate your posterior chain to move out of that kind of rounded posture. So I have two fun little toys here. This is just a band that you can get anywhere, just that kind of rubbery band. Now this one's kind of a bit stiffer. Usually these have different tensions, so this is probably like a solid medium, and then they have easy ones. And then this little handy dandy guy is just to give me a little less resistance and more distance for me to hold on to. These are just, again, just rubber bandy strappy things. So for today, I want to talk about how when you're doing back exercises, activating the back muscles, how to keep that rounding of the shoulders out of it and how to keep the traps taking over. So a really great exercise, I'll put these down for a second, just to start with, is to stand in front of your mirror and have your arms come out in front of you. Now, if you're kind of already crunching up like this, you want to take a nice big breath in and then let those scapula just kind of slide down the back. And I want you to think of reaching away. So there's kind of this opening. Okay, it's opening that back body. So nice broad back here. How we talked about that core engagement. You're going to do the same thing standing. So pressing your feet into the ground, a little more weight into the heels. Knees are soft, basically unlocked, and drawing up and in with that core to keep this nice neutral spine. So you're going to lift your arms up. Shoulder blades slide down. This might be enough if you're just starting to kind of work on activating those back muscles. So we're a bit more rounded. We're reaching away. Check in with the traps. So if you're like, oh, my neck, these guys are taking over. So big inhale, whoop, drop those down. So from here, what you're going to do is draw the shoulder blades together. So what I mean by that, if you take a peek, so I'm reaching forward nice and round in the back, drop the shoulders down, and I'm drawing the shoulder blades together. So it's not a big movement, but holy moly, does that work your back muscles. So what happens, though, that you want to be mindful, and that's why I want you to do it in front of a mirror, is when you're doing this, weird things can start happening. When you pull back, you might start kind of moving through the chest and moving your torso versus just activating those back muscles. So again, good stance. Arms come up, shoulders drop down, and then you're just going to bring the scap together. Show you again. Kind of reaching, little stretch, draw them together. Reaching, little stretch, draw them together. Now this is a hard one for me to do, and I work on this pretty regularly because I'm at the computer a lot, too much. I'm also a little bit of a gamer, so there's that. Yes, I'm a 45-year-old gamer. You're welcome. So that scap retraction is a nice way to learn how those back muscles are working. Another nice kind of shoulder back engagement dealio is you take your handy dandy little band here, you place your arms inside of it, and you can have them, I prefer above the wrist so that the wrists don't get involved. So a little more on the forearm. Now, because this one's a tighter one, I'm not going to make a huge movement for this, but again, arms come up, shoulders drop down. I'm in that nice Tadasana solid with my core, and I'm going to open just a little bit and back. Open, back. Now, this will get a little bit into kind of up here in the traps. I just don't want like this part activating for you. Because then it starts to go into the neck, you get headaches, you start cursing at me. all sorts of fun things. So, arms forward, scapula retracted or depressed down the back, and opening. Hold it for a beat, and back. Hold it for a beat, and back. Hold it for a beat, and back. Okay, so not a big movement, but you'll feel this working in the shoulder, and you're really gonna feel those back muscles engaging, those shoulders, the scaps, rhomboids. So this one, handy dandy little strappy thing, still has some resistance, but it's not as tense as that. So this one, a nice thing to do is you have that tension, so again, shoulders are down, and you're just gonna squeeze little pulses. Now this is also where weird stuff starts happening. So shoulders are down, good core engagement, little pulse. So it's not as hard as that one, and I'm a little wider out with my hands, so I'm hitting different parts, and I can feel it in my shoulder as well as working that back body. So a nice way to, after you do some rounds of those, a nice little stretch, if you will, is to hold either your long bendy strap like this, or you can have like a belt or towel or strap, whatever, and you're gonna hold so that it's, wider than your shoulders, and you're gonna inhale, bring it up and over, all the way back behind you. Up and over. So this is the one where people, again, might have it start going into the trap. So when I'm coming up and over, I'm not ducking and making my way through. So you might need a little bend in the elbows initially if your chest is really tight or your shoulders are kind of stiff. So you'll do that a few times. And then the next time you're up and over, I want you to find that sweet spot where it's like, oh, that stretch. It's kind of a love-hate it moment. Again, keeping it out of the traps. Back muscles are slightly engaged a little bit, but I'm feeling a heck of a stretch through here. And then when you finish that, release it down. Notice how lovely and open and free your chest is. And enjoy that. So we have the retraction using the small bands, getting a little resistance in there, using the larger band, looser band, easier band, so that you have that wider grip and can open up. The stretch to finish. And then another one to kind of check in to make sure the traps aren't taking over is what I like to think of as like the dancer exercise, the arm death of dancers. So you're gonna bring your arms up, palms are kind of at a 45. Now what I'm not doing is kind of rounding forward, looping the shoulders back so that you feel that shelf of your back muscles turning on, nice neutral spine. And then you're just gonna do little rotations. So you're open, closed, open, open. Now this one is it kind of works on mobilization in that joint. And man, you're gonna feel a burn. So I would put this in a sneak 'em in, but I wanted to kind of keep it all together here. So you're gonna do that and release it out. You can do your stretches, boop, boop, boop. But yeah, those are a couple ways to activate the back, get that posterior chain involved, which helps with posture, keeping out of that rounded shoulder. And then just a few stretches to keep things happy. All right, well, I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and if you want to see something in particular, let me know. I'm trying to keep these kind of shorter, but yeah, I'm open to stuff. I'm thinking maybe one more shoulder dealio for next week, and then I'll move on to something else. But thank you for being here. I appreciate it, and much love. Bye.